production value
Mm.
is insane.
There is no such thing as production value here when I'm running the show.
No.
But that's okay, because if you never have production value, then no one ever expects it. And if you never have a way to properly start the podcast, then no one's ever... Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Runeterrable Radio. I am Blevins. With me, as always, Saucy Mailman. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
I feel like this is a what year is this? This is a blast to the past, because we are going we digging deep into the archives here, all the way back, Saucy, to episode 7. For reference, this is episode 62.
Yeah.
So a long time ago for those keeping score. But we are joined by the one and only, the legendary Runeterradex. What's up, man? Welcome back.
What's up? Yeah, it's been what, a year? Over a year now,
Over
right?
a year. We're older than Runeterra.
We are.
Technically.
I know, that's true, but
Crazy.
nice. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it's good to
nice.
have you.
Yeah, it's nice to hear the same intro. I'm glad you've committed to it. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
God,
yeah, because I remember when the first time I started talking to you was during the very first closed beta, and like you were the only person tweeting out deck lists, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I should be playing.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. It's because like that account was like, it was just for me. You know, it's just an archive of decks, and then like friggin' what's his name? Tides of Times. Yeah, he's the one. He's the one who started it all. He's the one who's like, follow this guy, and then I got like 500 followers or something from that retweet. So I'm committed. And then like later on, Raynad retweets something, and that got me like to over 1,000 in just like 2 tweets. So it's like,
And then I retweeted one of your things, and you lost all of those followers.
And then I lost
all credibility was gone.
I had to start all over again. Yep. So yeah, I'm back at square one.
Yes, and
it's
finally,
been a struggle.
A year later, you're finally back to that glory of getting.
It took me a year.
You're never going to be able to relive that first Raynad retweet. It's you can never relive that first hit.
It was a glorious moment. My phone was exploding. Like notifications just nonstop for like a day. I
will say I love Raynad. I don't know if either of you saw any of the clips of him playing Hearthstone Classic when it was first.
Watching it live.
Dude, it was so good. It was so saltiest man on the planet. Oh, it was good.
He's the best. He's genuine, right? He's real. That's what makes him so fun to watch.
So I'll give you and just for anyone new that's listening, if you were expecting us to start talking about Runeterra anytime at the beginning of the show, you're wrong there. Not going to happen. We will eventually be talking about Legends of Runeterra at some point, but so here's my Raynad story. I got banned from my old account. Got banned from Raynad's channel, and here to date myself, he was playing. I want to say M15 draft or M14 MTGO draft, and I said something to the effect of, wouldn't your control deck be better if you drafted this Jame Day Tome over some other card? And I got banned for it.
Jeez.
Which is it's just so classic Raynad, and so classic awesome. Like Blevins is a million years old because he was watching Twitch back then and played Magic in hashtag Paper Boomer.
This is the pre-banning days of Raynad and Magic, right?
It was around then, probably. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
good old Rated.
Good old Raynad, creator of Hearthstone and all decks related. Okay. We actually have a decent amount of housekeeping, so I'm going to try to run through this stuff as quickly as I can, which has become a new challenge for me, and I love doing it. So If you're listening to this episode, thank you. Make sure you're following and all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. But next week, we have another very special episode. We're going to be having our good friend Swimstream on the cast, which is great. He has been on the show before, and he's always a delight. But it is also going to be on the Legends of Runeterra Road to the Seasonal, and we're going to have some Riot coins to give away. So huge shout outs to Riot for that, for promoting us, promoting the community, giving some coins and whatnot back to the community, and really celebrating the road to the seasonal together with the community. So we're really helpful. We're really appreciative there. And again, huge shout outs to Riot and everyone there with that. So that's going to be awesome. And I mean, we're going to be talking with Swim and about all the stuff that is going on that week, which I'm imagining
there's a lot.
if I'm pulling out my abacus and using predictions for how things have worked around previous seasonals, you can maybe have an idea of what might be there to talk about. I don't know. I'm not that smart, but I think you might be. Anyway, of course, the Mastering Runeterra tournament also happened last week. Our sister podcast, again, I don't know why Jason was so adamant about declaring it a sister podcast, but here we are. Our sister podcast, Mastering Runeterra, did their 1K event. And Saucy, I know you were playing. We cast one of your games where you atrocity'd a, I think, 26 power Nasus at someone.
My big Susan, yeah. That was a lot of fun. It was a cool event. I was taking about as seriously as you all expected, and we were playing Scriblio while playing games. And it was a really good time. It was a blast. So good, yeah. Love those people.
Yes, they are good people. Make sure you're checking them out. You can go on Twitter, Mastering Runeterra, check out their podcast and their Patreon as well. They've got a lot of coaching and just general getting better at the game options, and just a good community to do that. We have a really great community here at Runeterrable, discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. But if you're trying to get better at the game, this podcast is not the one for you. We're about having fun, and we're about talking about stuff that's going on, and just shooting the shit like idiots like we do. But if you want to actually get good at the game and all that, make sure you're checking them out. And of course, a reason to get better at the game is, of course, the Seasonal Swiss is happening this weekend. If you're listening to this live, or I guess shortly after the podcast is released, this weekend, Seasonal Swiss rounds. If you have not qualified via ladder yet, there's still a little bit of time. I think, actually, it might be today. So if you haven't qualified via ladder or Gauntlet, you might be SOL.
Oops.
But good luck to everyone who's going to be playing this weekend. And if you are playing this weekend on the America Shard, stream your matches and shoot a DM to Casa. Let us know what your stream link is, and maybe we'll feature you, because myself and the illustrious Skarzig are going to be casting the Swiss rounds this weekend, so that's going to be cool.
Maybe I'll cast you casting people. Like, it won't be the games, but I'll just cast you talking, and like I'll make like commentary on the things you say.
I like it.
And then Runeterradex is going to cast me casting you.
I'll do it. Let's do it.
Love it. The casting inception, it's got to happen. I absolutely love it. But that is it for our housekeeping. So let's move on and let's talk about the stuff that we're going to talk about today. Dex, it is no coincidence that we're bringing you on here this week, a year and change later after episode 7. I know you've got a pretty sweet announcement to talk about.
So, yeah. What day is it? May 22nd, 23rd, right? Blevins, you would know.
I would know, but I can't.
I don't know anything
right now because I can't go to.
But anyways,
details will be in a subsequent. Guaranteed details will be in a subsequent tweet. So take all of the things that we're saying with our mouths live with a grain of salt.
So I am announcing a $1,000 open Runeterra tournament. And big thanks to Metafy, which is a coaching site. I think they've got a bunch of players, but I'll be putting up $500 myself, and they've, without asking for any money, they came out of nowhere and decided to gift us $500 for the community. So that will be added to the prize pool. So $1,000 total. And yeah, well, welcome to join. I believe the tournament will be in a month from now, which is I think the 22nd. I'll confirm it.
We'll
Or
get it.
Blevins might be able to, yeah.
There will definitely be a sweet announcement tweet from the Runeterradex Twitter channel at some point with more details. But this is live, cutting edge, exclusive announcement right here on Runeterrable. We couldn't be more excited.
Right. So yeah, I hope everyone joins. I want to get to 10,000 users or tournament entries, and
Nice.
it's going to be the winner will be the champion of the universe.
True.
Like the winner of this tournament will be the best. So that's the goal, and hopefully, if it's successful, I want to run more of them. You know, like it's probably going to cost me a bit of money, but until I go broke, I want to give back to the community. That's my plan.
I know that feeling.
It's hard. Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. I mean, it's super cool. Obviously, it's no secret that I've been working with you on this and helping you through this. My surprise! But yeah,
I had no idea.
I had absolutely no idea. But yeah, no, it's super awesome. I mean, it's great to see more open events. I know we, in the old days we had, Duels of Runeterra, and there is a lot of good open events that are out there, but there's not really a big open event. There's very few. I mean, obviously Mastering Runeterra happened last week, but that was, not necessarily an open event. It was sort of for their community, which is great. But like, this is open event, anyone can join. $1,000 prize pool tournament, and it's really cool to just see, have everyone be able to get in there and play some high level Runeterra, which is awesome. So super excited for that, and of course, again, more details will be on the Runeterradex Twitter at Runeterradex. Make sure you're following them if you're not already, which is silly because like how do you even find decks these days if you're not following Runeterradex? But yeah, really awesome. So
the best thing about the Runeterradex Twitter account, and it's Runeterra as in the game we're talking about, and then it's DEX.
Yes.
So it's not like Dex like DECKS, like DEX.
How do you not know that? I mean,
well, we're speaking to the people who don't know things. We're trying to educate them. My favorite thing about specifically the Runeterradex account, and not even because this guy's here with us, I don't care. But they tweet and retweet like interesting decks as well, not just like top finishing decks that are all just Thresh Nasus and various different versions of Thresh Nasus. It's like I get a lot of inspiration of just like doing stupid shit because like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a champion I forgot was in the game. So there's interesting things as well as meta lists, and it's like a good combination of them all.
Right, and that's very intentional. So it's like a combination of like the absolute best players, and then the other half is just meta decks. So like, I kind of keep track of what decks people hate. Like for example, was it TF Fizz? Like I made sure to not retweet that because I know people would hate me. Things like that. The Felios deck as well too, pre-nerf. Exactly.
Curated hatred.
Yes.
Right, it is. It's curated with that in mind. So yeah, I'll keep that up.
Yep.
That was way creepier than it needed to be, but
perfect.
Oh, it's so sexy.
Which is awesome. And I gotta call it out because I think that's a really great point. You can obviously and this actually, TF Fizz and Aphelios really bring it home. I mean, you can go, of course, in client and look at what the top players are playing, but there's like, it's so like not maybe, I mean, part of it is like echo chambery where it's like, okay, the top 10 with like a few exceptions, it's like 9 out of 10 are using TF Fizz or 9 out of 10 are using discard aggro if that's the flavor. Like this is, so it's like, yeah, you can kind of get, maybe you can get some variations, but it's like you get so much of the same thing, and then because people see that, then they think, oh, that's the only deck to build. I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to get too into it. But, you know, it's really great that you're going out of your way to, you know, retweet the Ash Marauders deck that Game Boy Rob has been playing, Encephalopod. And, you know, you're retweeting, you know, maybe before it kind of boomed. I mean, Thresh Nasus, like, even like a week ago was like sort of like a B tier, like tier 1.5, tier 2 deck. And then all of a sudden someone picks it up, someone like, you know, a Nick Makes Plays or, you know, a Mo or someone picks it up, refines it, and then it becomes tier 1 and then everyone hates it. It's the circle of life, right?
It is a circle of life.
It's the circle of card game life. It really is.
Circle of life. But yeah, really excited about the tournament. And again, more details to follow on Twitter, but get your decks ready for that. That's gonna
get them ready. Get them ready.
Get them ready. Speaking of getting ready, there is an even bigger thing now to get ready for. Arguably the biggest thing possible. It happened, Saucy. Worlds. Confirmed details. Legends of Runeterra World Championship. 64 players from America, Europe, and Asia, as well as several ranked and seasonal tournament participants will compete for their seats in the World Championship finals and a $200,000 prize pool. Insane. And then, you know, you can go to playruneterra.com and they have their competitive tab. You can look at all the details that they released or go on the tweet. I'm not going to go through all that, but I mean, this is something that the community's been asking for, that basically anyone who's come from a competitive game, a competitive card game, or even just a competitive game in general, right? Where is Worlds? We want to see Worlds. This is like the pinnacle, right? Where is that big, you know, esports competitive event, the sort of anchor event for the year? Where is it for Legends of Runeterra? Now we have it. Saucy, what are your initial thoughts of this Worlds announcement?
I am glad that they have finally announced it. I like that we can talk about Worlds. It's really awesome. So these are things, especially the first one, like the timing of it, I really like because so basically you can go through and see everything for yourself for details, but there's a bunch of ways you can qualify. There'll be people from top ranked finishes, seasonal tournament finalists, and your seasonal tournament points that have come from all of the seasonals already. So, you know, people who have been with the game had already like loyal to it, have kind of a leg up versus people just getting into it. But this is incentive for people to start getting into the game, especially as we go on and there's more and more. There's a $200,000 prize pool, which is, I think, pretty decent for the first one. And knowing Riot, depending on how it goes, could see that definitely going up as the game grows and stuff. So, you know, we'll get the $20 million prize pool Worlds that I want to see. That's my goal. You know, not a big deal. But I like that there's multiple ways to qualify. I think that's really important to me. That was always kind of something that coming from like competitive Magic and like competitive Hearthstone, like the Hearthstone like Pro Tour stuff was not as varied and got very, very grindy. And like, so I like to see this. I'm very, very happy for this.
Well, I mean, back in the old days, the only way to qualify for the events in general was to be a top streamer or player already. There was no like
you had to be invited
or anything. But Dex, I mean, obviously this is a huge thing, and with your sort of persona and your account being so, again, not necessarily like hyper competitive focused, but like focused on decks and deck creation and deck building. How do you feel about this tournament and what it's going to bring to the community?
Super excited. It's going to get me more followers, which did happen during the announcement. It was crazy. Like when they announced Worlds, I got like 50 followers. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I checked Twitter. And lo and behold, Worlds announcement. So
yeah,
from a personal standpoint, I love it. You know? And hopefully it brings in like some of the superstars from other games. Like that would be crazy. Like I want Dog to come back, or Tides of Time, coming back.
OG.
The OGs, maybe some of the Hearthstone pros or something.
I mean, we've had Kibler dabble.
Right, like
Yeah.
imagine how fun that would be if Kibler started doing deck creation, right? So those are some of the things that I would love to retweet, or just some new guys. Like at this point, like my Twitter, like it's all about giving the new content creators a shot, right? A lot of them are like, hey, I reached top 10, like I just started streaming. Like those are my favorite tweets. The guys with like 10 followers. And then what I do is I'll press that retweet button, and they'll get like 10 followers, which is like awesome to me.
Yeah.
And hopefully it brings in a new set of users. That's what I'm ultimately hoping for through Worlds. Just fresh brains. We want creativity in lore. I want to see the most wild decks in Worlds. Bring back Elnux or something.
Ooh, that's what I want to see as well. And
right.
You touched on it a little bit, Dex, but we'll bring up here Broccoli Violet in the chat says, do you think it will convert some players to come to lore from other card games? Obviously, it would be the dream for that to happen, but Saucy, what do you think about that in general? I mean, is a 200K Worlds event and sort of a pretty solid road to qualify? Do you think that that's going to bring in, the LSVs, the Hafus, the Amazes over from other card games?
I think it is enough to bring more competitive players. I mean, I've talked to a lot of because I have friends in the Magic world and Hearthstone world that's what they do, and a lot of them said like, I don't have a competitive incentive to play Runeterra. Like there isn't like essentially like a pro tour and things like that like to play for. So why am I going to grind this game when I'm a competitive player?
Right.
I was talking to a couple people today, actually, funny enough, talking about the player base of the game, and it's super interesting because you wouldn't know it, but the Runeterra player base is massive. Like the game is gigantic, but it is a mobile game still, and the vast majority are casual players. So I think being able to attract some of the more competitive players, some of the people who are more serious, the type of players who are out there looking at deck guides and watching Twitch streams and trying to like actually get better at the game, like those are the type of players that I think we need to start bringing in. And I think things like this are the right way to start doing that.
100% agree. And we obviously joked about, well, maybe not joked, but we've seen Kibler, we've seen Dog play. Obviously, Disguised Toast at the very beginning was one of the people who got like the initial access, and many of us got our original keys from watching Toast's stream. I will say, I think that the players like that, the Kiblers, the Dogs specifically, these like top 0.0000001% streamers, they're probably not gonna leave. And I've talked about this for years, and just like about games and streamers and changing games in general. It's like essentially like quitting your job, right? Or like starting a new job, or going part-time in one job and start doing another. I think it's less that, and it's more like it would be great, obviously, if Kibler was passionate about Runeterra and wanted to play, and maybe Worlds was like an aspiration. But at the end of the day, Kibler doesn't need to win Worlds. The money and maybe the competitive drive is there for him, and maybe that's the cool thing. But like, Kibler is not looking to be signed by like TSM or someone to be their Hearthstone or their Legends of Runeterra streamer, right? He's got his own brand in that, from that perspective. Maybe he wants to be the best Legends of Runeterra player for the sake of it. Maybe not. I don't want to speak for what he does or doesn't want to do. But I'm looking more, like you said, the old SCG pros, the grinders, the people who are going to all the GPs every weekend, that maybe that you've heard their name, or they're like the PTQN bosses, like those people who just are grinders looking to make that next step. And I think, Worlds is a nice anchor point for the competitive Legends of Runeterra scene to really have that be the guiding light, right? Like, here's Worlds. And of course, again, this is the first one. So, like who knows what 2022 is going to look like, or 2023, or what have you, right? But worlds and seasonals, it's a nice solid start at the very least, right? For a competitive scene, and I think we're going to see a lot of people who are I mean, we've already started to see Gwent. I feel like is one of the ones that we got a lot of players from. Gwent coming through, Gwent players, just not having enough work, right? And Legends of Runeterra is there. You can get a lot of stuff done there. So I'm hoping to see a really nice influx of players, competitive players. I love seeing some of the people who are sort of outside of the, the core Legends of Runeterra people that we all know and love, come in. I mean, I even look at someone like Raptor, right, who is, Josh Utter Layton from Magic, who plays Runeterra, but he's not a public Runeterra person, right?
Yeah.
As far as I know, doesn't have a stream that he plays Runeterra on. Runeterra isn't his main job, right? But he comes in and he does well. He's top 32 both seasonals, and he plays some crazy decks, right?
Yeah,
like if you look at his, I mean, even just the stuff he brought to the seasonals, but if you look at that, or you look at on some of the, like a Mobalytics or a Runeterra.ar, and look at like their past decks, like it's crazy. Unfortunately, he doesn't post that much to Twitter, but every once in a while he does. Yeah. But like, it's just crazy to like think about that, because he's got these, like, for instance, the one, and I know I'm rambling. I'll end on this. But he in the last seasonal, he played this Vi Riven deck.
That deck was cool, dude.
That deck
I was watching it live.
So cool. It's so sick and it's so powerful. Watching him play that was absolutely insane, because it's like, this deck looks like a bunch of trash. It looks like his hand is trash, and he's going to get completely thwomped right now. And then he wins in 2 turns, and he's like making these weird blocks and stuff. And then it's like, oh, he has exactly lethal in 2 turns from now with Might on Devi. It's like that sort of thinking, like there's not as much of that, right? There's not as much incentive to go outside of the box if you're the best players at TFIz, or if you're the best player at Thresh Nasus. But players like, like Raptor, and I'm sure there's plenty of others too, that can build these decks that, when I played that deck, it was trash. I'm like, how did he ever win with this pile of junk? But then you watch him play it, and it's absolutely insane.
Yep.
I want more of that.
I think there's another important thing about it is, like, we've had a lot of competitive events, especially over the past like 6-7 months. I mean, we have all of the events that you cast Blevins, and like now with that we've got the seasonals, but there's a lot of community tournaments, in the Mastering Runeterra tournament, the Runeterradex tournament we just talked about. Like, there's a lot of stuff that does exist, but what's important about the Worlds tournament specifically is it's showing more support from Riot Games, the developer themselves. Like, all of the community grassroots tournaments are great for the community itself and for competitors who are already in the community, but I think something like this, like, we've seen card games are freaking tough, especially like to keep support for, to keep interest in. I mean, we saw what happened with Artifact, and a lot of people are afraid, like with Runeterra only being a year old, we just had our year birthday party. Like, is it going to stick around? And to see the public support from Riot pushing into the tournament and the competitive scene itself, that means a lot to players.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing to add to that is it's all about player development. I really think that's the lowest hanging fruit in terms of making this game like the next Hearthstone when it was at its peak. I hope that Riot takes player development seriously, where they showcase the players, create content for them, really hype up all the events, and I think Hearthstone has done that very well. Like, Hearthstone. Like, Blizzard created a lot of superstars, through tournaments like Firebat, like even this guy's Toast during his early days, right? Like he became popular from that one tournament, and like I feel like Blizzard did a pretty good job showcasing some of the top performers. I wish Riot does what they do with the LCS, right? So like, working at FlyQuest, working directly with Riot, I know how much is involved like for the LCS, and it's crazy, right? It's like thousands of people like working on LCS, whether it's from a professional team or through Riot. Like, I don't think it'll get to that level for lore, but I'd love to see at least a dedicated esports team, really prioritizing player development and showcasing the best players. And if they do that well, like for example, like Majin Buu, I wish they gave him more of a shout out. Like he was deservedly the seasonal champ. Like, I wish they created videos of him, something something to showcase his success. Like, I hope Riot does that for lore at least, or the worlds. I mean, to really really put the spotlight on the players who deserve it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, that was one of the best things about like Hearthstone with their grand championship, everything. Like, the production value was there. Like, they built these crazy stages. I mean, Blevins was with me when we were at BlizzCon at the tavern they built for the tournament. And like, they do all these player videos and they follow them around and go to their house and like film their day to day, and like, you got to know these players on a personal level. You're like, oh, I didn't know that Disguised Toast likes banana in his oatmeal. It's like all this crazy stuff. Like, that was the stuff that got me excited as a player for the game, and I want to see that kind of stuff for Runeterra. And it's Riot, and they have the advantage of being able to learn from what other games have done. Like, we talk about it all the time. The reason it's so good is they've gotten to take from games like Magic and Hearthstone and everyone, and be able to like learn from things they've done right. And they could definitely kill it if they do things really well for the worlds.
Yeah, I'm hoping, like, and obviously I'm slightly biased because I work for a company that is the America's seasonal part, or the NA seasonal partner for Riot. But I think that the seasonals have been really great as a start, and I think we're improving on each seasonal, and Riot is improving on each seasonal. I hope Worlds just fucking blows it out of the water. I'm hoping. When is the date for Worlds? Did we get a date for Worlds?
No, I don't think they did an official announcement of it.
I mean, again, I have no knowledge of this. At least I don't think I do. So I'm just saying this with no prior knowledge to anything about the details of Worlds and what it will or won't be. I want it to be some sort of in-person event. Now, of course, this is pending COVID, pending the blah, 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 blah. I don't want them to go out of their way to put people in harm's way.
Yeah.
But in an ideal world, let's have the first Legends of Runeterra Worlds be an in-person event. I would love it if there was public, at least some, like, I want a crowd. I want that crowd so badly for a big event like this. And yes, card games aren't as hype as, a League of Legends or a Valorant or a game like that has it. But I mean, you absolutely can have hype moments in games like this.
Oh yeah.
And like, the crowd, it adds so much. I mean,
even playing in person adds so much. Like, when I was going to like DreamHack events and stuff for Hearthstone, and even though it's a digital card game on your iPad or your laptop or whatever, seeing your opponent's face, like, there's a lot to that. I've always said I want to write an article on like the mind games and card games, because like in Magic it was huge. Like, being able to it was huge in Magic because you are playing in person and paper.
You can't bluff attack online.
Yeah. No, exactly. And when someone's in person, like, watching them when they top deck the thing and like being able to read their tell, and like, there's a lot to it. And yeah, just being in the audience during a huge tournament, like at BlizzCon for Hearthstone, like, I wasn't even playing the game at the time. I still watched the event, the energy in the crowd. Like, you see someone top deck their Variant Rin or whatever that's important. You're like, oh, it's just so fun.
It's something you can't, like, you can emulate, but you cannot replicate in online. And even like watching a IRL crowd online is a different experience than just watching. As much as I love, and obviously I've been a part of a ton of LOR tournaments, it's not the same, right? But no need to harp on that any more than that. One other viewer question here while we're still on the topic of Worlds. This one is from our boy Charmer, who we got to get back on the show, Saucy. We haven't had Charmer on forever.
I know. It's been too long.
He's one of the few two-timers, too.
I know. We joked about having him on like every other week or something, too. We'll get him on.
We'll definitely get him on. So Charmer asks, while most consider stars from other CCGs, do you think anyone from TFT competitive scene might transition, given that lore feels like it's getting quality comp support? This is I'll try not to rant too much because I've ranted a lot already. This is one I've put a lot of thought into because I originally, before LOR came out, was focusing on TFT. That was what got me back into Riot from having played pre-season 1 of League of Legends. Yes, I get it. I'm an old timer. But the communities are weirdly different. Not that one community is weird and the other's not. It is very weird to me how different these seemingly similar games communities are so different.
Yeah.
And I've when Riot did the or I guess rather Twitch did the Twitch Rivals, that was the trifecta.
Triathlon?
The Triathlon League, TFT, and LOR. Casanova was on a team, so he talked with a lot of the players, and like the TFT players, like it wasn't like, oh, Legends of Runeterra, like this is a cool. I mean, a lot of them said that they enjoyed the game, but it wasn't like, oh, I can just pick this up. Like a lot of us Magic players picked up Legends of Runeterra, or you could pick up Yu-Gi-Oh, or you could pick up Gwent, or any of these other card games that are arguably drastically different, but they're still, you kind of get the same concepts. For some reason, that transition did not click for TFT, and we've said this on the show many times. TFT feels like it is the MOBA community playing a strategy game, and LOR feels like CCG players playing the Riot CCG, and for some reason, there's like a weird divide between those two things, and there's not a ton of crossover.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I can speak to this and I can give vague information on some things, but even in like when I'm producing content, because I do a lot for Runeterra and I've been doing a ton for TFT lately because it's so fun. Even on my own YouTube channel, if I put out mostly Runeterra stuff, if I put out a TFT video, I get like 1/100th of the viewership. There's my regular viewer base for Runeterra doesn't care about TFT. A weird thing. So I'm part of the League Partner Program, and we have a Discord, and they run monthly events where they do a big League Partner Program tournament.
By the way, you're the most winningest.
I am the most winningest. Not to flex, but I'm flexing actually.
Literally flexing.
So they do every month they change the game. So they do League and then TFT and then Runeterra, and they switch between them. And when we play Runeterra, there's more League players that are interested in Runeterra. The TFT players don't play Runeterra. Like they don't actually end up going into it. And it's weird that we have more League crossover for Runeterra. It's just, but not TFT. Like there isn't. Yeah. It's just strange because they're both strategy games. Like I always say TFT is like a deck building card game if you think of them as cards.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. Dex, do you have
weird.
Any thoughts on it?
I don't, but I'm a CCG player I've played maybe like 2 games of TFT, so I guess that confirms that, well, I'm not sure if it does, but there's very little crossover between lore and TFT, and I'm not sure why. I feel like maybe League players might be more inclined to play lore just for the lore, like literally the
LORE of LOR,
right? The lore of lore, right? Like that would be my guess. I don't know. It's hard to say without having any knowledge of TFT.
it's really weird to me because I personally feel the crossover. Like and I know Saucy, you do too. I feel like we're weirdly in the minority where it's like, yeah, I love LOR, I love TFT. Now, from time to time, I favor one over the other. I've recently been favoring lore more than TFT, though. Set 5 though. Set 5 though.
It's so good.
A brief aside, Saucy, I've been losing a ton of Set 5 recently, and I kind of figured out why I've been losing so much. Yeah, I do this thing where I have a lot of gold, and then I just...
He's been waiting waiting all day. Not just all podcasts, literally all day. From the moment he found out that we weren't doing this on my channel, he's like, "Hey, Saucy, we're not streaming on your Twitch channel, right?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay, cool. Just want to make sure it's on my channel because I have some stuff planned."
Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh,
awesome.
man, I was waiting for a time to work that in, and it wasn't organic at all, but it still worked. But on a serious note,
I hate you, but in the best way.
God, it's so stupid. I hope my Twitch channel gets
Awesome.
banned. Yeah, so it's weird because I personally feel the crossover, and I wonder if it's. And we won't. I know there's half of the people are like, why in the world is this even a topic? But
because there's no crossover. So all the listeners who come from Runeterra, they're like, fucking stop talking about TFT. I hate
TFT. I absolutely hate it. But it's I wonder if it's because, and I think you nailed it on the head, Saucy. To me, it feels like a deck building card game, but with like pieces and characters from LOR. Rather than like they're cards to me, right? They're cards and it's a deck builder. But League people, I would imagine, probably are like, oh, this is simulating a team fight. This is just like I'm putting my champs in and it simulates a team fight. And even though it's literally the same exact thing, maybe those mindsets keep it different. I don't know. I'm postulating here. I'm sure that someone at Riot it's probably their job to figure out how that crossover works or why it does or doesn't work, and also it's probably a very valuable answer to have, and I don't have it. No idea. But I enjoy both, and I implore you, if you haven't, to definitely check out TFT. It's really good. But
yeah, it's a blast.
Saucy, LOR is also really good. So good, in fact,
it
that
is.
DICE named LOR the mobile game of the year. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that was really cool. I saw that in my Twitter feed today and gave it the good old retweet. I was like, that's really cool. And this goes back to what I was saying at the start of the show. Like, the player base for Runeterra is fucking gigantic. Like, there are a lot of people. Even if you just go look in your mobile game store of choice and look at how many reviews there are and how few bad reviews there are, like, there are a lot of people who play and love this game. They're just not as vocal as other games you would expect.
Yeah.
Kudos to Riot. Like, their mobile app is actually really, really good, right? So
yeah,
they deserve that.
100%. And like I am a vocal lover of mobile games in general, so I'm inclined to play mobile over almost anything if it's good, and it absolutely is. Whenever I mean, anytime I'm in my living room, I'm playing mobile games, and whenever I go to like holidays or something, I don't have my PC. It's like I have a perfectly good time. I know it's tough. But I'm playing, Runeterra on my iPad or even on my phone, which is much smaller than my iPad. And it's perfectly fine. Like, it is actually a really good program. Unlike other emulations, it actually really is great. So yeah, huge shout outs to Riot and the Legends of Runeterra team for that, because it's just great. It's really glad that they got that. It's absolutely deserved. Okay. Well, we've alluded to this a little bit, but I think it's actually I think tomorrow is the actual day, so the 23rd I think is the actual birthday, or maybe it's next week. I don't know. But the like physical birthday. It was really confusing because they started the event last week, but the event goes on for 2 weeks. So what day is the actual birthday?
Anyone in chat know the actual
Birthday
like
of
1
it?
year? Because I don't remember.
I
Because
don't
to
remember
me,
either.
the birthday was in like October.
October, yeah,
when
that's
the
what I
beta
thought.
happened. Yeah.
Right.
Is it not?
No, when Rising Tides was released was the actual release of the
Release.
full game, which from
Yep.
Riot's perspective is when the game launched. Now we
Yeah.
playing in beta, that none of that counts. That was all beta time. That's not the Okay, April
Yeah,
30th is global
April
release. Okay, so it's a week from tomorrow. Oh, April 29th.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Or a week from today. It's a week from either today or tomorrow. I don't know. It might depend on time.
I can't count. I can't count 7.
I don't know either.
Who knows how weeks work?
I have no idea. But we're coming up on the birthday of Runeterra. And oh, how far we've come since then. I mean, Lab of Legends is insane and awesome. I've been really enjoying that, Saucy.
It's real good. It's really good. I'm so happy they keep adding to it. It's so good.
Did they add new things? I
Yeah.
played it like a month ago, loved it.
Yeah.
but I haven't given it a chance.
They've added difficulty levels now, more
Yep.
champions, more
Oh.
items.
Yep. they added
You
a
can like
special.
mulligan things. Yeah.
Yeah, you can roll.
alright.
You can roll away like items and stuff. Like if you don't like, you get like 3 rerolls for your. You
Yep.
get 3 rerolls throughout your run, and if you like
Okay.
get offered shit, you can reroll it, which is awesome.
That's kind of awesome. Yeah.
It
It's
does
spicy.
make it much more degenerate because it's like, oh, I got a
That's how I like
Katarina.
it.
I'm snap 3 rerolling to try to get the refill your mana when you play her.
Oh
Just
yeah,
auto win.
yeah, Katarina.
I-
Yeah, you could do that.
I had a deck. It was it Lucian? I don't remember what the actual champion was. It doesn't matter because my most played card was Legion Saboteur, the 1 mana 2/1 when it attacks deal 1. It had like 4 keywords. I had the Victor buff where it gets +1/+1 for each keyword. It had I had like double rally. I would literally win on turn 2 every single game because it was like I would summon. Oh, and it was like create an ephemeral copy in play. So I would be attacking turn 1, attack for 14. Turn 2, I would rally immediately. I'd get a 2/1 challenger. I'd have another one. It would summon. I'd attack for like 20 on turn 2, which was great. That was
You can do some
run.
fun, crazy stuff. It's really cool.
Which goes back to my point when we talked with Jay Doza. It's like if I can build that deck. No one wants to play in a format where that deck is buildable. Yeah. That's like impossible to beat.
It's funny. Like I have a streamer friend of mine. They started playing Runeterra and they exclusively only play Lab of Legends. Like
That's awesome.
They just love that game mode so much. Like that's what's got me into the game. He's like, I'm never gonna play Constructed because I don't even care about card games. But Lab of Legends, he's addicted. He texts me almost every day and he's like, oh, I played against Sejuani, blah blah. I'm like, it's great. I love it. So good.
That's awesome. Well, I double checked this to make sure that the tweet didn't come out on April Fool's because I thought it was I thought it might have been a joke, but it came out after April Fool's. But Sean Main, who was the head dev on set 3, or no, I think he was Rising Tides, one of the sets. Might have been the first Targon set actually. He is now on the he is now leading development of Lab of Legends. So like they have a full person that is on the like development and pushing Lab of Legends. So like it could this could only be the tip of the iceberg in terms of what they do with it. Like you can do so much with it. I mean it really does feel like its own game. Like almost
do like speed runs or
speed runs,
right?
and just like I mean, I would love to see more levels to it. Like, I want to see
like infinite levels.
I almost want to see an infinite mode, but like at a certain point, you just get so powerful where it's like, how do you ever lose? Like, how am I ever losing with that deck?
It's really powerful too, right?
I'd love to see it have like a map like Slay the Spire-esque where you get like go down different paths and have different types of enemies.
Yeah, that would be sweet. And who knows? Who knows what they can do with it? I mean, they have, Sean Main, who obviously. I don't know what their actual title was, but they were, I believe, the lead set designer. That might be wrong, but of the actual Runeterra set. So it's like you've got someone who is obviously on at the top of their game playing or in charge of that mode, which is really cool.
Yep. I love it.
I absolutely love it. We're close. We're quickly coming up on time here, but one thing I wanted to talk about before we got going, I know this is important to both of you because obviously, Saucy, you were playing the deck. We were casting you playing it. And Dex, I'm sure you've been seeing this deck pop up all over the place. Thresh Nasus, kind of with a vengeance. Not literally with vengeance most of the time. That card's not usually.
No, yeah, you don't play that.
Well, I stopped retweeting Thresh Nasus. So.
Now you know it's too cool now.
It's too good. It's too good. Yeah, I've been playing it actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it got me to I'm like Diamond 1 like 40 LP right now. So
right
I
on the
probably
precipice.
should. Yeah, I probably should try. I'm playing Ash Marauder at the moment, but Thresh Nasus. Man, it's brutally strong. It's just weak against, I believe, Ash.
You crumble the Ash.
Yeah, so like that's why I'm
and
playing.
Lysandra Trundle is really tough to beat.
Right. I think Ash deck is actually a little stronger if you're trying to climb at the moment, because people are countering Thresh Nasus. But yeah, if you're not up against the freezing decks, it's just too OP. It has like 7 different answers. It's aggro, it's mid range, it's late game, it's got atrocity, it's got everything.
Yeah, I mean,
it's something that makes me very happy. So we got this. I was invited to the Riot special event before the set was released, and I got to preview a bunch of stuff, and we played with the cards. And I was playing a bunch of Nasus in that, mostly because I loved Nasus from Teamfight Tactics. I was like a major Nasus is my phone background. Like it's literally like I love Nasus as a character. You guys want my phone number? I'm just kidding. So I was playing a bunch of Nasus, and people were, when the previews were coming out, I was like, God, Nasus looks so weak. This is the worst card of the set. I'm like, just you wait. And it was like the first week I was playing Kindred Nasus and a little bit of Thresh Nasus, and it was like the easiest climb to Diamond ever. I had like an 87% win rate or something ridiculous. I'm like, just so you guys know, Nasus is good. And then I stopped playing the deck because I got bored with it. And now to see it rise, I'm like, listen, sometimes I know things. I usually play stupid shit. I get it. It's usually got Teemo in it. But sometimes I know things. I understand card games very well, even if I'm not serious.
Well, that's what I always, whenever you're in a tournament and people are like, wow, Saucy's doing really well. I'm like, Saucy actually was a very good tournament player in Magic and played competitively in Hearthstone and Magic. But now I almost look at it as like Saucy's like retired to playing chat's
dumb
shitty
shit
decks.
Yeah. True though.
It's Saucy on the beach drinking the pina colada and people sending him Yasuo decks that he throws into the trash, which is good. But yeah, I think Thresh Nasus. Oh, how quickly the community will turn on a deck once it becomes good. Everyone starts to hate it. If you asked 2 weeks ago or a week ago, hey, is Thresh Nasus toxic? People are like, no, that deck is so cool. It's such like a Timmy deck. I get to play this giant doggo. It can get cool abilities. It's ascended. This is awesome. And Thresh, no one ever plays Thresh. Thresh, man, we haven't seen him since Spooky Karma. When it's Thresh, I want Thresh to have his time in the sun. Now it's a good deck and people are winning. Oh, Thresh is OP. Ban him.
It's so true
Ban
though.
Nasus.
Even streaming.
Not even nerf. Ban Nasus.
Yeah, it's crazy because like it was literally a couple weeks ago. I was streaming some because I love the deck. Like it's all of the things I love in a card game deck. And like I was streaming it. People are like, yeah, this deck's so cool. Like play more of it. And then the other day, I'm like, maybe I'll play some Thresh Nasus. Like, oh, it's so boring. Don't play that deck. We hate it. I hate Nasus. Nasus too strong. And I'm like, this is good. I love it.
You've made it when the community hates you. That's for a deck at least. Good times. But we are just about out of time. I want to say a big thank you to Runeterradex for coming on the show. It was great having you back, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. It was a blast. It's been over a year. Glad to see you guys are still trucking along.
Still kicking around.
So yeah, I'm excited to be a 3-timer
Ooh.
eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We'll do it.
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
We'll
Let's
have to
do
have you
it.
back on after the event to talk about how it went and all that good stuff.
That's
So
great idea.
we will
Great
get you
idea.
penciled in. But again, thank you so much, Dex. Why don't you sell out, shout out? Obviously, you got the tournament coming out. Where can people find you on the internet?
So twitter.com/Runeterradex. That's my main account, I guess you can say. I did stream, but I kind of slacked off for a bit. But I'm gonna try to get back on. I know. I know. I gotta. Man, my subscriber count was at 2 as well. I was on the
Oh
way.
shit!
I know.
Ooh.
And I'm affiliate. Like I'm a beast.
I think I'm the
Dang.
first subscriber too. I think I'm number.
You were number 2.
What?
The pink.
Oh!
Yep, sorry, the pink one.
What?
He's number 1. He's the founder.
Oh my!
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're just a co-founder.
I'm
sorry.
You hate to
but
see it. You hate to see it.
fuming right now. I'm
yeah.
fuming.
It's just the truth. But yeah, I plan on streaming a bit more so I can start promoting the tournament, talk about it. Just a place for to just discuss it. Talk about formats, talk about future tournaments. So yeah, just follow me on Twitter. That's where I live. I live in Twitter. So
Living in Twitter.
That's where Runeterradex lives. Yes, yes.
The birthplace of the Dex, and again, that's Runeterradex on Twitter.
That's
Make sure
true. I should be confirming that it's with an X. Man, I should have thought of that when I was thinking of the name, because there is a Runeterradex with the proper spelling, and it's got like over 1,000 followers. And I'm sure I've helped that inactive account.
People accidentally following it.
Yeah. So
good.
Yeah, that was an oversight on my end, but yeah, check me out on Twitter and check me out on Twitch as well too.
Yes,
do it.
And you'll of course be getting all the deets and the tournament announcement and all that
yeah,
good stuff.
The deets and the dudes.
In good time, but you heard it here first, folks. Saucy, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here?
If you want to check me out, it's just saucy.live is my website, or saucymailman.com. They go to the same place. Expect to see it. I'm going to be honest, a shit ton of Teamfight Tactics right now. I've been
It's F5 though.
Dude, it's crazy.
F5,
I've loved TFT before. Like, I've always played the game. This is the first time I've been addicted to it. Like, I'm playing so damn much. It's crazy.
I mean, I've been playing a pretty good clip as well, but again, I keep losing because sorry. I had to bring it back. But if you want to follow the show and you're not already at Runeterrable on Twitter, the community of which you should already be a part of, but if you're not, we're happy to have you. Discord.me/Runeterrable Radio, Runeterrable.com, DeckPics.Live. Come on in. We absolutely want you to be here. If you want to follow me on the interwebs on Twitter, I'm at _Blevins on Twitter. You will be able to find me on the seasonal Swiss broadcast this weekend.
Yeah.
At twitch.tv/GiantSlayerLOR for the Swiss rounds. And yeah, you should definitely check all that stuff out. But that is going to be it for this week. Again, huge shout outs to Runeterradex for coming back on. But for Dex, for Saucy, I'm Blevins. We'll be back next week. Again, special episode featuring Swim. Huge shout outs to Riot for the coins. But we'll be back next week to talk about more Legends of Runeterra.
Wow.